Hello there, I'm the base manager and welcome back to Space Engineers. Now, today we are going to start working on our supply hub, a space station that should supply us with all the stuff that we need. But first, and given that that is going to be a major endeavor, I think it would be wise for us to work on a multi-purpose building ship, a ship that would allow us to weld and grind at our pleasure. I kinda have an idea on what I want to do, is just that I don't know how am I going to execute it, just yet at least. Well, given that we have already this extended, and we have a connector right there to supply us with stuff, I think we should start working in here. Well, maybe not directly in here. Let's create another thingy from another building pole. Okay, from this location. Alright, my friends, so this time we are going to do things a little bit different. Usually I just do a time-lapse of me not attach his router lock. Where is the router lock? Where is the router lock? Here it is. So, as I was going to say, usually I just do a time-lapse of me laying out all the blocks, and then I just weld them off camera. But this time, this ship is going to be a little bit more, shall we say, complex than usual, right? And so I have to build it in steps. The first step is the frontal part, where it's going to house the mechanism that is going to allow us to have both welders and grinders on the ship, and then we'll have to take it from there. Yeah, and given that my planning capabilities are, shall we say, really poor, I kinda want to do things this way. So first, let's start by building, like I said, the frontal part. Okay, so we have to start with a cockpit, and I think that for this one we are going to use the industrial one. So pretty much the idea would be to have a, shall we say, a logistic thingy junction somewhere right here, and then have a hinge on the top and on the bottom. Okay, I think this is going to be possible. That would control the grinder and welder. So okay, let's try to do that to start with. So the initial idea would be as follows, right? We would have the welders on the top, the grinders on the back, attached to those hinges, which are attached to the junctions. The hinges would move the thingies back when they are not in use, and move the things forward when we need to use them. That way we can have both welders and grinders to build this ship. Not to build this ship, but to utilize in this ship to build, you know, other things like stations and other large grid ships that we have in our future. After all, we can't just stay at one ship, right? We need something a little bit more combat focused, but that's thinking way too much in the future. Now we have to focus on the present, and that means continuing building this beautiful craft. And there we go, the frontal part is now welded. I needed to weld this first because I need to pretty much, now I need to remove all the locks, but I need to retract this, no, the other way please. I need to retract this to their full, not extension, but their full rotation, shall we say, so that I can see where these things line up, so that I can start building the engines and stuff like that. This thing looks pretty cool with all the tools retracted, but now that they are in this position, I know precisely where I can start putting, you know, stuff like cargo containers and stuff like that, because the cargo containers, the ones that we actually want, we don't want these small ones. They are here simply because we need something to do connections and more cargo, right? We can't exactly say no to that. We don't want these thingies, we definitely don't want these thingies, nor do we want these. We want these big bad boys. And until this point I could not really, I can still put it down, but I could not really say where could I start putting these large cargo containers. We are going to put at least 2 of them. Maybe we are going to put them like this and like this, and that is going to be it. It's not a lot of cargo, right? But we don't want this thing to be super full of stuff that we can't even move, so you know, there must be a compromise. Now, we don't want this thing to be crazy fat, so we are going to end it over here. These are 3 junctions. They are going to lead towards a connector. That's going to be it for the size of this thing. Now, when it comes to the remote control, we are going to put it right here, if the game allows me to. Right there, facing that way. We want the remote control to be facing backwards, because technically speaking, that's the only direction it should go, right? This is the, shall we call it, return home system, right? So we should always not be facing home, so yeah, and it's probably for the best to have the remote control dock in this direction. Right, everything else that is important, we are going to stick it over here, like gyros. Yeah, we need some of those. Not a lot of gyros, but a few. We are going to use ion thrusters for propulsion on this thing. And the reason for that is we don't want this thing to be super maneuverable, nor do we want to be very fast. After all, we are going to be in close proximity to a structure, and we don't want my fingers to slip accidentally and cause a major crash on something that we are trying to build. That would be counterproductive, I would say. And there we go, all neatly packed in there, away from any danger, so that we never lose control of the craft. Now we are still missing a few things, like propulsion and battery. Those are the 2 final things, and then of course aesthetics and stuff like that, but yeah, those are the 2 final things that we actually need. Yeah, I need to think about it a little bit. Where am I going to stick a bunch of batteries into this thing? Okay, so in order to keep things somewhat centered, we are going to have 5 batteries on the back and 3 batteries on the front. We have one right there, one right there in between the cockpit and the junction, and another one right there. Hopefully this is going to keep things balanced, but we still have to see after we detach everything. Alright, so final thing left to do, it is propulsion. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical about giving this thing large ion thrusters, for the fact that I mentioned before, I don't want this thing to be very quick. Otherwise we might smash ourselves into the thing that we are trying to construct, but at the same time this thing is going to be quite bulky. So maybe 2 large ion thrusters is not exactly the worst thing in the world, especially when we are full of materials. So I'm going to risk it, and if it proves to be too much, we cut down on their thrust. So propulsion wise, we are done. We are going to have 6 to the sides, 6 to brake, 4 up and down, and of course these 2 big ones for going forward. So I think that we are going to be golden. Now these 2 sensors is for something else. I'm going to try and build a warning system to let us know if we are within welding range or if we are too close. I still need to kind of extend these things and work the little details out, but pretty much the idea would be to have a few lights to let us know. After all, perspective is a little bit difficult in space, so it's always nice to have a few things letting you know what the hell is going on. Alright my friends, so now the only thing missing is the final stage, purification, adding a few blocks here and there to cover up all of this. After all, this is just the bare skeleton of the thing. We still need to give it a little bit of shape. As per usual on my industrial vehicles, I'm not going to cover everything, I'm just going to give it shape and cover the most important things that are kind of sticking out to give it a more uniform shape. Alright, my friends, so ship-wise, the ship is built. The ship is pretty much complete. I think we can detach it from the main grid now, so that I can go into the control panel and I can start setting up control groups and stuff like that. There is a few things that need to set up, and yeah, it's far easier if you kinda don't have all the blocks of the entire grid in one list. Alright, my friends, I think I have most of the groups set up correctly. So pretty much in tab number 1 we have the controls for the vessel, and tab number 2 we have the controls for the tools. The timer block pretty much activates both hinges at the same time of the respective tool, and then we can turn on or off the tool itself so that we can use it. And you know, they can get stowed away when they are not in use, so that they don't stub against anything and explode. After all, welders tend to like exploding things quite often, and exploding themselves as well. At first this probably is going to be a little bit of a challenge controlling this thing. I'm still not used to it, but in any case, now we must test the craft. All engines are lit up. First thing we are going to do is try to line up the vessel with that port over there so that we can test the... Oh shit. Oh no, I'm going to crash. Oh no 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 no. Oof! I forgot to add large thrusters to the group. Oh boy, that almost ended in disaster. Okay, so let's go for attempt number 2 now with the engines, all of them lit up, so that we avoid colliding with things. That was a near miss. I'm glad I had the quick reaction to turn the ship around, but in any case, now that we are somewhat lined up, just a little bit more. Kinda want to have the perfect alignment if at all possible. This alignment is pretty cool, so what we do now is we go into the Shift K menu. I don't know if I can remote control the craft that I am using, but let's take a look. Okay, I can remote control it even though I am using it. Now we create a GPS point over here. GPS 1. These will always be temporary, and we always have to set up these waypoints if we move, right? But now I shall move backwards a little bit because the remote control is pointing this way, right? And then I create another waypoint, GPS 2. Okay, maybe like this. We then release control, go back into the control menu, search for that remote control, then we add the GPS points 2 and then 1. And whenever we go for autopilot, the ship should bring us into a position where we can lock somewhat automatically. So let's test the maneuverability of the ship. Okay, the ship is behaving quite nicely, maybe a little bit too much. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe we have a little bit too much thrust going forward, but other than that, the ship is quite nice. So now let me just do a burn this way, a little bit far away from the main vessel, and then let's activate the autopilot, see what happens. Ouch, 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 what the fuck are you doing? Stop. Okay, okay. Maybe we should have the remote control on one way only. Yeah, we have on patrol, we want to have one way, and another another thing, please. Please. You were going a little bit too fast for my tasting. Okay, for attempt number 2, yeah, maybe that's, you know, what we could call a slam dunk, but anything got that? Okay, stop doing that. Okay. Less than ideal, but sure. We just need to remember to cut off our engines whenever we decide to dock with this thing. Okay, so interesting development, but I think something got damaged. Oh yeah, a little bit. Okay, so for testing purposes, I'm just going to put some plates in there, and then I'm going to try and weld that this tower over here. We are going to try to weld it and grind it a little bit. So let's say we want to weld first. Let's engage the welders facing forward. I also want to test the sensor range. I just set up the range that I think things should start welding. I don't know if that is going to be the case or not. So let's turn on our welders and see if the green light shows up. Yeah, okay, so at this range we can weld pretty well. And like this is when the red light shows up. Oh boy, try not to get yourself welded, my friend. Maybe, yeah, we are pretty close at that point, so I think it's a fair warning. Cool, so now all we have to do is go side to side. We need to bring the green light sensor a little bit closer, apparently. But other than that, should be relatively fine. Okay, cool, so let's say that we are done welding. And now we want to do some grinding. So let's extend the grinders. Let's turn on the grinders and then let's attempt to deconstruct these thingies. Convert to ship is not possible, okay. Yeah, this thing takes a little while to deconstruct. I thought it was going to be faster than this. It's mostly for the inventory capacity that this turns out to be an advantage, but other than that, I think our personal grinder can do a better job than this. But cool. Hey, it's tested out. We already got an error and everything, so I think we are going in the right direction. Alright, pretty cool. I'm happy with the way that this thing it's turning out, but we still need to put it to the ultimate test. Right now we are going to leave it over here to recharge the batteries, which are mostly recharged anyway. But we still need to build something for this thing to weld, right? So yeah, oh, okay. I need to grab some components and start laying down the foundations for our future resupply station. Okay, so in order for us to use that thing over there, our multi-purpose building ship, we need to use it in layers. We can't put everything down and then decide to weld it, right? We have to build from the inside to the outside, and we weld things as we go. So I think that one of the things that we want to do first, the one to be on the most inner center of our station, is going to be the fuel, right? I think that's a wise decision. Put it as centralized as possible so that no random shot can destroy it. So let's say 12. I can find that the darn thing. This. Nope, not this. This. Okay. I would say that 12 is a good amount of of hydrogen storages. So just going to put three, one layer on top, one layer on the bottom, and we are going to be set up for fuel. Okay, so now we have the 12 thingies. So what I think we should do is we put as many as we can into the build planner. Probably have a block in here. Yep. Put as many as we can into the build planner. Come into the cockpit of our vessel. Go into not production, in inventory. We should put add components from build planner into queue. just verify, yep. Now we connect to the vessel, right? And withdraw components from build planner. And because we got no error message, I'm going to assume we have everything that we need, but that's only 8. So what we do once again, we come out, still have to select 4 more. The build planner is clear, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back into the cockpit and do it all over again. Put into production, and because I'm pretty sure I have most of the components already built, I can withdraw from... Did you move stuff around without my... You better not screw me over, game. This is a test after all, okay? So try not to do anything, otherwise I have to put a sorter, and I don't want to mess with my vessel now. In any case, now we disconnect, engage the engines, and we attempt to weld those things over there. In my opinion, the big advantage of using the ship is mostly on these large things, because just the tanks by themselves require a huge amount of travel time between, you know, just to grab all the components, not even the welding speed. I knew it. I knew it! The game has removed stuff from... God damn it. Well, this is one of the problems. What are we missing? Large steel tubes. Of course we are. Yeah, I'm completely clean, and I still have so many things to touch. Game, you were not supposed to steal from me. I am disappointed with you, but okay. This means that we have to do 8 items at a time, so otherwise the game would remove from the containers of the craft to put it inside of the containers of the craft. It doesn't make a lot of sense, if you ask me, but okay. Whatever you say, game. Let's connect once again, then we select 8 items, we put all the stuff in the craft, and then we go weld again. Are you joking, game? God damn it. I know that we are not full, we have plenty of capacity left, so what gives? Why are we not getting all the components from the build planner into our ship? I don't understand it. Well, I mean, if the build planner doesn't want to have anything to do with us, we don't need it anyway. We just stuff ourselves to the brink with a bunch of stuff, and hopefully we are just going to pray to the gods of Space Engineer that we actually have enough to build everything that we need. So I'm just going to do this, you know, collect as much stuff as I can, or that I think it's useful. That one is full. One should be full soon enough, so that's pretty much it. Okay, we're full, we're full. Let's go there and try to weld that thing together now. Well, there we go. For the first attempt, I have to be honest, I didn't save a lot of time, but once again, it's not the ship's fault. It's the fact that I could not put the components inside of the ship using the build planner thingy. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to memorize how many components do you need. We're talking about things like this, right? So I suppose that we are going to have to go for the second approach, which is just stuff ourselves filled to the brink with as much stuff as we can, and then we take it from there. Now, my friends, there is still a lot of things that we are going to have to be doing by hand, like for example the interior conveyor thingies, right? We are definitely not going to have any way of putting the ship in such a tight corner that would allow us to, you know, weld this using the ship. But still, it's going to be a major help at building like the large stuff, and for example, walls and stuff like that. I just need to put a bunch of plates inside of the ship and then kind of print it out as we go. So yeah, now it is just time to put down a few extra blocks and, you know, start using that thing to make our lives a little bit easier. Alright, my friends, so we not only want to have a lot of fuel cargo, we also want to have a bunch of cargo itself, right? I'm going to replicate what we have downstairs using the cargo containers. 12 cargo containers to be precise. And I'm going to assume that is going to be enough for our needs, but if not, well, I mean, 12 cargo containers filled up with ingots and ores, I think that's a little bit maybe too much. So yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just a matter of me getting used to the controls and doing a few updates on this thing. I need to put more back thrusters to have more braking power, and other than that, maybe just set up the range a little bit better, and we should be golden. Also, I would like to understand how the build planner thingy works a little bit better, because right now I'm just not connecting the ship. I am leaving the ship with a little bit of a gap, and then I manually transport the items between the two docking ports until the all the items have been retrieved. That takes a little bit of time, but it's actually somewhat quick, so it could be worse. Also, the autopilot sometimes doesn't work properly. Don't know really why, but for example, right now all I would have to do is something like this, and of course turn off the freaking welders, and I want to weld the helmet to my head, and then I would just you know, position myself somewhere around here and go like this, deposit like that, until I have all the components over there. A slower transfer method, be sure, but it still works, so can't be complaining too much about that. And I'm all turned around apparently, so yeah. I decided to build one extra cargo container because this is where I want the ship to, the station to start getting some horizontal form. This is going to be the bottom part, where all the storage is, and then the facilities are going to be on the top. In this direction and in this direction we are going to have a station itself with facilities and stuff like that. On this direction, however, going that way and going that way, we are going to have the starport. Pretty much just a conveyor line with a bunch of connectors, so that we can have all the ships that we want docked in there. That way we can leave some ships behind and replace them with others, should the need for that arrive. Okay, so because braking is kind of important, we went from 6 thrusters to 14 thrusters of braking force. So now we are braking much quicker, so we are less likely to bang our heads against anything that we are building. Side to side is not really important as we want to go slowly anyway, so there is no point in adding more. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this thing, and it's just figuring out the build order thingy, and this thing is almost as perfect as I had in mind, so as I said, pretty happy with it. Okay, my friends, so I thought about it a little bit, and I think that I'm going to make a sorter right here. So let's just destroy this connector, right? It's going to change the shape of the craft a little bit, but these things, the sorters, luckily for us, are very thin. So let's put one right there, and then we put the connector on top of it, like so. We can weld the connector, and then we'll weld the sorter. And to test it out, we are going to build a bunch of batteries in our in the core of our station over there. Because here's the thing, we are going to have, in theory, a lot of crafts coming and going, and we want to always have a bunch of power available to us so that we can recharge our drones. And for that I think having a bunch of batteries over on these sides, I would say like 8 over here, 8 over there, and 8 on the other 2 corners over there, would provide us with an initial power storage that would be sufficient for our needs. Besides, it gives us also an excuse to test this new system. This looks like a lot of power storage. I'm pretty sure this is going to be more than enough, so now let's put it to the test. I'm going to fill the build planner queue with batteries. Let's just double check. Yep, 8 batteries, so we have to put this 4 times into production. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now with the sorter over there, we should pretty much just whitelist everything. Sorter, here we go. It's blacklist. Oh yeah, blacklist nothing or whitelist everything. Pretty much the same. The sorter is here not for its filtering capabilities, but so that we ensure directionality of the components, and hopefully with this the build planner will always pull the components from the main craft into our vehicle and will not lose quote-unquote components along the way. So in order for us to test this out, I need to once again put the connector there, wait a little bit for all the components to be ready, and then try it and see if it works. Okay, so now we are connected. I gave it a good moment for it to load everything, not load everything, but construct everything. So now we are on only inventory of current ship, meaning the ship that we are attached to. There is plenty of stuff in here already. I'm unsure if we'll have the room for everything, but let's hope that's the case. Withdraw all the components from the build planner. This thing turned gray, meaning in theory all the stuff should be here. However, that theory, I don't know if I believe it, because I'm pretty sure we are going to need way more power cells than we have right now. But no, we still have a little bit of room over here, and we have room over there. Game, you're lying to me again. Where are my power thingies? Yeah, I barely have enough components to complete one battery, so once again, we can see the game is lying to us. That kinda sucks. I really don't... it's probably me that's doing something wrong, but I don't know. I thought that the game was actually pulling the components from within the craft itself into itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but I thought that the conveyor thingy would prevent that, but apparently I was mistaken. Oh well. I suppose that's a problem for future me to solve it. For now, I will just do the old tried and tested method of just piggybacking everything into the craft itself. Not exactly efficient, but you know, it works for now, and it's still faster than doing it by hand. Yeah, the sorter makes it worse because I can't deposit stuff now. I have to open the inventory, take the stuff out of the connector, and then I can deposit in there. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, okay. Duly noted. To be honest, my friends, of the entire process, this is the part that takes the longest. because welding those batteries is a thing that takes like 5 seconds. So yeah, to weld like things that take a bunch of components using this vehicle is far more quicker. So this time, hopefully, we will not take 10 episodes to build something, and I sure hope not, because yeah, after we get that thing over there up and rolling, I kinda want to get into a dedicated fighting vehicle. Our frigate is good to keep with us, you know, to use in an emergency, but I would like to have something larger, far more powerful than that. So yeah, but I will only be able to do that once I complete the space station. You know, one project at a time. So yeah. And would you look at that? All of those batteries welded in less than 20 minutes. By hand, that thing would take me over an hour, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, time saved using the welding vehicle. And then all we need to do is give it the autopilot home. You can go do your thing, and well, we can keep on building. This I suppose it could be a like a power plant or something. Please don't explode anything while I'm not looking. Be a good boy. We could put like a reactor over here, just one. 30 megawatts is plenty of power, I'm pretty sure. Especially because I will want to also add a bunch of solar panels. I think mostly for aesthetical purposes, right? A space station without solar panels, is it really a space station? I don't think so. So because of that, I believe that just one reactor is going to be absolutely fine. Besides all of these batteries are getting charged up by our the reactor within our capital ship, so we will have plenty of power when we decide to inaugurate our space station. Well, I thought about it, and I'm going to build 4 small reactors instead. The normal reactor, it's just too big, so yeah, I think 4 reactors is far more efficient space-wise. It's not going to provide as much power. I believe each one of these is 5 megawatts instead of the 30 megawatts that the large reactor provides, but still it's far more space efficient. Not only that, we can stack more on top of this and still have access to the main logistics grid, which right now that's the only connection that we have, and I think that's going to be the only connection that we have to the lower part of our space station. And then on top of this, we can start building the space station itself, the crew quarters, living quarters, all of that stuff. Yeah, I think that's the way we are going to proceed. Let me tell you, my friends, this thing is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. For all of those who kept suggesting that I should build a welding ship, and I always said no, because it's not that I doubted the usefulness of a welding ship, I doubted my capacity to build one that was actually good. But yeah, as you could see, we welded that in absolutely no time. The only thing, the bottleneck now is not the welding speed, is the production speed. Even though we have all of those assemblers with speed modules and whatnot, we still can't assemble fast enough. But yeah, now we should be able to produce a space station far quicker than I built that. It took me between 40 to 50 hours to build this thing. Still pretty quick if you ask me, but still, that's a little bit too much time. I think that we'll be able to cut that time, if not in half, if not in a quarter, at least in half, while we build our space station. Like, the most expensive things are already built, which is the core. Like, the rest is mostly just iron blocks, you know, light armor blocks all over the place, and some glasses. That costs nothing. We can carry a bunch of plates on us. We don't need to have you know, constantly be on the build menu and dealing with that broken thing. We can just put 5,000 plates on that thing and just weld. It's going to be glorious, I'm sure. Oh wait, the small reactors actually can output 15 megawatts, which means that 2 small reactors equals a big reactor. Wait, it's that? I could be mistaken. But I'm pretty sure the big reactor outputs 30? No, 300 megawatts. Okay, I'm sorry, my friends. All of this is still new to me, but I was close to it, right? I was just missing 1 0. So, no, not even close. We are producing 60 megawatts out of these 4, and 300 out of this one. However, 300 is kind of too much for a space station, so I think we are good with this. Maybe we'll add some hydrogen engines in the future if really necessary. I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think that we're cool on the nuclear, but maybe just for redundancy sakes, we might just add the hydrogen plus the solar panels, so we'll see. I'll see what future me comes up with. For now, I think that, well, we are going to stop right here. After all, we can't get the space station done in 1 episode. That would be too quick. And I'm pretty sure that I already taken this episode long enough. So, well, my friends, the blueprint for this thingy will be available on the Steam Workshop. In fact, is already available in the Steam Workshop. This is the quote-unquote final state of this prototype version, but if you guys have any suggestions on how to deal with the build planner thingy, where it doesn't draw all of the components, but checks all the components from the list, which is annoying, I'll be eager to know, and we'll do the modifications in the future, and I'll update the blueprint if that is necessary. If not, well, I suppose we'll have to deal with it by using the piggyback method. It's a little bit annoying, and I get a little bit dizzy from time to time, but well, it's still quicker, so I'm not going to complain. And well, once again, pretty happy not only on how it looks, but on how it functions, so hopefully you guys will want to use it as well. But with all of this said, my friends, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and that you are enjoying the series so far. If you are, please consider subscribing and help the channel grow. But in the meantime, this is the Base Manager signing out. Bye bye!